Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. Today, I want to talk to you about the coronavirus pandemic. Never before in our lifetime have we experienced such a crisis. Many of us never believed such a situation could ever happen. A few weeks ago, our life was completely different to what it is now. Now, individuals, entire communities, and systems are crumbling. I know many of you have lost your job and are now faced with all sorts of hardships. You may be stuck with narcissists right now in quarantine, not knowing how you can survive this. And there are many of you who have your children being kept away from you by narcissists because of the coronavirus situation. What does all this mean? What is it showing us? How can we respond? I really hope I can share with you how I feel about the coronavirus pandemic in today's Thriver TV episode. Okay, let's start off with the correlation between this situation and narcissistic abuse. It's incredible how many correlations there are between what is happening right now and experiencing narcissistic abuse. I know that many of you are now going through both situations simultaneously. All of it triggers fear, lots of fear, which brings up the feelings of being powerless, helpless, and not having control in the situation. And here, just like with narcissistic abuse, you don't have control. You have no idea of a timeline, outcome, where this will end up, and the state you will be in when it is finished, or even if it will finish. And of course, this is terrifying. All right, let's have a look at the true solution to out of control situations. The most important thing now and always, when you don't have any control over the outside, is to take your power back on the inside. In times of overwhelm, horror, and literal survival programs being triggered, when your life and hopes for the future are being threatened, it may feel impossible to become fearless, especially when horrible things have happened or are happening or could happen. Regardless, the most important work is to lose the fear. Before narcissistic abuse and Thriver recovery, I would have said to you that it's impossible to lose the fear unless something on the outside changes so that there's nothing to fear anymore. Now I know that this is not the way that quantum creation works, because I've seen it so many times in my life and other people's lives, that regardless of how shocking things are, when you turn inside to lose the fear and start to value the state of your emotional soul health over and above everything else, that the most incredible synchronicity, solutions, and support can appear as a profound shift, even when logically no support seems possible. You see, your superconscious self, teamed up with every available permutation that exists in life, has a way. God, source, life is unlimited. There are no limits regarding what this force can create. In times of great crisis, we are being pushed to become extraordinary. What is occurring is incredibly crippling, causing devastation to so many individuals and groups and people in ways that we could never imagine previously. I know this is huge. I know this is one of the biggest calls ever to lose the trauma and the fear of what is happening right now. that's even more destructive than the virus. And I know that you may have already been smashed by this, and my heart goes out to you in spades. However, I know that this is what we are being pushed to do right now. We are being called to create an extraordinary, emotional, empowered uprising that could not only change your life forever as a result of what you're going through, but also significantly up-level our world. Those of you who are now thriving after being narcissistically abused have already made the quantum switch, meaning emotionally from the inside out, you created your own personal breakthrough into your values, truth, and the health of your soul, regardless of the insane, seemingly unstoppable, brutal treatment you receive from the narcissist. Against all logical and reality odds, you then experienced your passage from the bowels of hell into the glory of your true self and true life. Even when you were diagnosed with health conditions such as CPTSD and other diminished realities, such as other devastating health conditions, financial annihilation, and accumulated losses on horrific levels that you were told you would never recover from. You didn't just recover. You burst forth into the self and life that was more buoyant, confident, healthier, and expanded than the life you're experiencing even before you went through narcissistic abuse. That's what happened for so many of us thrivers. Why? Because rather than try to deal with the narcissistic environment that was out of control and uncontrollable, or stay focused on the devastation that it brought you, you turned inside to release all of your trauma that was inside you, to come home to a solidness, power, and faith within yourself that was unshakable and literally unstoppable. This was a dedication to resurrect your inner world, even when your outer world lay in tatters at your feet. As you stepped into your soul graduation of who you really are, the narcissist lost all power over you, and a whole new world of possibility, synchronicity, and miracle came into view. Then you understood the truth, that within the experiences that you know as your life, every permutation is available, regardless of how circumstances seem. What presents in your experience as your experience is the match of the inner experience that you consciously cultivate. So, when you lose your fear and become emotionally solid, even before anything shifted outside of you changes, even when there is no way, a way must appear. It's quantum law, so within, so without. From every cell within my being, I know that the same truth exists for us here within this pandemic, regardless of outer evidence. This is the Thrive Away. And this is how we discover just how powerful we really are. The incredible irony is, in non-extraordinary times, we are not pushed to find this gear. Often we just cruise along because there are too many distractions keeping us away from shifting into our true power. And quite frankly, there is no urgent necessity to have to do that. The greatest evolution is usually brought on by the times when we are the most powerless, terrified, and helpless. It's by overcoming our inner deepest fears that we mine our most spectacular gold. Narcissists push us to do that. So do global pandemics. I want to share with you a beautiful and powerful channeled message. And this is something that was sent to me just recently from a very dear friend of mine. Its origin is from Jeff Van der Kloot, who is CEO of Sourcing the Way. Jeff is a visionary and a channel for world-changing times. And this is what Jeff shared. This is what he said. After listening to people talk about the coronavirus for weeks, I had the inspiration to tune into this novel life form and ask it to tell me about itself. And what came through was a list of its top five gifts, followed by a message for humanity. I will admit to being somewhat surprised by the information. My hope is that these words will help people to trust that life is acting with benevolent wisdom. The gifts of the virus. Number 1, slowing down humanity's frenetic activities. Number 2, activating networks of cooperation. Number 3, spreading helpful DNA. Number 4, upgrading humanity's immune system. And number 5, creating the conditions for peace and well-being. Here is the message that the coronavirus had to share. My friends, it is true that I'm here to bring closure to the inharmonious ways of being that are causing harm to humans and the whole web of life. All the same, I am not a vengeful being or anything that is intended to be destructive. I am simply the rebalancing agent in the overall equation of life's evolutionary process. By fighting me with fear in your hearts, you oppose the larger natural systems and cause me to take other forms. What I am and my fundamental purpose will not be deterred, for I am life itself acting through the available forms of distribution. The virus that you see me as is one of an endless series of permutations. This kind of process is one of the ways I innovate life forms and deliver new DNA sequences that will eventually be shown to be helpful. The back and forth between humanity's collective immune system and the virus is raising consciousness as humans examine their interactions, and it is literally increasing the intelligence of the superorganism that is the species as a whole. These tests are normal. I repeat, these tests are normal. For those who can hear this message and embrace me easily, you already know that fear is a much more lethal poison. For those who will not be comforted by these words, one day you will know that I come as an act of love. When you can open to the love that is at the very heart of this situation, the crises that your media and governments decry will transform into a flower of life, spreading new consciousness and multiplying circles of cooperation. Pay attention to your thoughts and see if you can identify the benefits of redirecting humanity's attention from incessant wars and violence to the common, in inverted commas, enemy that I'm willing to be perceived as. Love will go this far and further to bring healing to the mind of a young species that is still in the process of remembering itself as a divine incarnation. Yes, you are a divine incarnation capable of fabricating realities based on goodness and beauty and compassion, compassionate understandings, actions, and beliefs. Believe me when I say that I too am here as an act of compassion. Accepting me in this way will lighten your heavy burden, for the divine sends only love your way. Sometimes this love takes curious forms in order to circumvent your intricate defenses against waking you up to your own glory, I can assure you that the most functional strategy will be to embrace me as a friend of the human family. Wow. I truly hope that Jeff's message has been able to bring some love and relief to you. And I see this so much as so similar to the trauma of narcissistic abuse, that when you can bless it and accept what is happening and transmute your fear and your pain into love and becoming who you really are, then the problem can be released from our experience. And I really believe that as a collective. I really do. We can transmute this virus into another form that can't harm us by accepting, blessing, and doing our inner work on this. We are all in this together. We are. When being narcissistically abused, you may have felt like you were going through this alone. With other crises in the world, groups and countries have felt like they're going through this alone. We are now going through this as humanity. And I love this community. This community is so incredible because we are all going through this together. The traumas of narcissistic abuse, the traumas of the pandemic, all of it. We really are in this all together. This time as humanity itself. And as Jeff so beautifully channeled, rather than distrust and fight and war with each other, we now have the opportunity to come together. We can anchor into love, kindness, and the recognition of what is really important. I've seen that everywhere as a result of what's going on, how people are loving each other more. It's so beautiful. We have the ability to reach out and assist the situation. We can offer a helping hand, an act of benevolence, the sharing of our resources and our loving support. We can be kind. We can demonstrate love itself. Please reach out to people, keep in contact, tell them you love them and that you care. And we can sign up to our most important mission that we have ever, as a human being in our time on this planet, committed to, which is overcoming the fear and pain within the only person who we have the power to do that with, ourselves, to become and lead the way as a loving, empowered solution for ourselves and others. When our personal life can no longer go on as normal, we can no longer avoid, ignore, or make excuses for the parts of ourselves which we don't want to confront. Or we can't make excuses for the patterns and people in our life who are not representative of our values and health, or any false trajectories that we're living that are not true for us. These times signal a season of profound personal catharsis as an incredible growth and evolutionary opportunity. And I also know with every part of my inner being that we can also, through doing the inner work, help bring light to all that is. We are so interconnected with each other and the collective. We can heal, including this virus. We can co-generate its healing transformation. Because our consciousness is so connected in powerful and energetically impactful ways with everything. That's how powerful we are. In this time of deep incubation and unavoidable triggered emotional trauma, our inner beings deeply need our attention to emotionally integrate and heal. I know that these times are tough, hard beyond measure, and terrifying in ways that we've never had to experience before. Yet I also know that in the greatest fear lies the brightest gold, and that so many of us, myself and every other activated thriver in this community, is deeply dedicated to going for gold. There's nothing else to do if we want to save our own lives emotionally, possibly literally, as well as enhance everyone we love and everything we touch. Losing our fear and becoming peace and power is the only thing to do to help birth through us a brand new world. I know that we have the power to do this one person at a time. If this deeply resonates with you and you know you have to find another way to get through this, I want to help you achieve your powerful passage to the other side. I would love you to come with me into my free webinar, and you can connect to that by clicking the link at the top right of this video, because in this I take you through how to recover from the fear and the pain of narcissistic abuse. But I want you to know that what I'm sharing and those processes is exactly relevant to overcoming the fear and the powerlessness with the coronavirus pandemic as well. It's exactly the same healing process required. It's all about purging the fear and taking back your true self. So I really hope that this has helped, and my heart and my love goes out to you in this time. Please join me for relief. Come into that webinar and together, and it's a free event for you to experience it, to learn how to take your power back, help yourself and our world. And so much love to you. Reach out to each other, spread the love and the healing. And I can't wait to connect with you with my love and support in your comments and your questions below. So until next time, keep smiling, keep healing, keep thriving, especially now there is nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.